Yay, we are going to share a power yoga class together today. If you're up for it, bring a block, maybe a book if you don't have a block, but something a little bit solid, and maybe some hand weights if you have. That can also be bottles of water, something like it. Now, this is Christian yoga, it's cross yoga, and you're welcome no matter big or small faith. And actually, today it's all about faith or doubting. I'm going to share with you a story from the Bible. That's happened around Easter, just after Jesus resurrected, if you believe in that. And it's about one of Jesus' best friends, a disciple called Thomas. But I'll read it in just a moment. And let's just get seated and prepare body, soul, and mind. I always find it comforting to begin with a bit of sighing out, releasing any stress, discomfort you might feel or notice in body and mind. Know that whatever you bring on the mat, maybe you have just lots of energy and feel pretty okay, and maybe you're just in a bad mood. Whatever, you're welcome. There's nothing that is right or wrong as we step into God's love and God's presence, and just use God as a term or a phrase that you can maybe exchange with something else if that makes more sense to you. Breathe deeply. And I'll read the passage. It's from John 20. Just sit with your eyes closed and breathe. I like when I read any story, actually, just to picture what happens in my mind. So we are in Jerusalem, probably, around year 33 or so. And just imagine that Jesus' friends has just seen Jesus being crucified. And then some of his friends, disciples, has seen Jesus standing alive 3 days after this crucifixion. So they're of course confused and happy and, just very, I would think, confused with what's going on. And Thomas is as well. So it says, "Now Thomas, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, 'We have seen the Lord.' But he said to them, 'Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hands into his side, I will not believe it.' A week later, his disciples were in that house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, 'Peace be with you.' Then he said to Thomas, 'Put your fingers here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe.' Thomas said to him, 'My Lord and my God.' Then Jesus told him, 'Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed.' Jesus did many other miracle signs in the presence of his disciples, which were not recorded in this book. You are welcome to move a little bit if that feels good in your body. I just want to release one thing that popped into my mind as I read this morning. Thomas was doubting, and to me, he has this scientific mind, as maybe you have, maybe not. I have been educated as a social scientist, so I am often pretty critical towards everything that is said. I want to see proof. I want to know for sure, is it, scientifically, stuff like that. So I can certainly identify with Thomas. He wants to believe because that would be amazing. But there's just something in him that doesn't, unless he has some proof, some evidence. And maybe you can identify with that as well. Find downward facing dog. Take your hands widely out, fingers out, move your legs. All right, power yoga. We're going to use our strength. We're going to celebrate maybe that. Even though Thomas doubted, Jesus met him. So Jesus can meet us as we doubt. Maybe in his presence, maybe in love. So many things we can doubt in. Moving into plank. Stacking your hands underneath your shoulders. Knuckles down, fingers down, core in. And back to downward facing dog. Just 2 more times. We're going to stay in plank just for a moment. So try to see if you can breathe with your abdomen actually pretty tight up. Back to down dog. 1 more time. And down dog. Warming up, so walk yourself to probably your top end off the mat. I'm going to turn, but you're probably just going to stay so you can see the screen. So get into mountain pose with a little bit of distance in between your feet. Reach your left arm up and go for that bend towards your right side. Both hands overhead and go for the left. Core activated so that you have a strong core sets to support your back as you move from side to side. Now in power yoga, you can definitely use what is called the Ujjayi breath. This is snoring, wave, exhale, and I actually love doing it because it engages my core more. I like the rhythm of that. So you're welcome to incorporate that. You might exhale as you move to the side. Inhale as you move up. All right, last time. So you have an equal amount of movement on each side. Then sit down into your chair pose. We're gonna get those thighs nice and warm. And make sure your spine here is tall, the pelvis tucked under. And sit low as it is power. Then you're gonna rise up, bring your arms back, tucking the shoulder blades back. Sit down again. And you might exhale as you rise up. Inhale as you sit down. Please squeeze the buttocks, the butts there behind you as you rise up from your chair. And I might move faster than I would in a flow class. And it's then in order to create heat in the body. Three more times. So really going low. Make sure the knee and the toes are in the same direction. Last one. Awesome. Then you bring your arms up overhead. You're still standing where you are, folding forward. Sun salutations, halfway lift. Step, I would encourage that. The first time your feet back, tuck the shoulders back, like hucking the shoulder girdle in, on toes or knees lower down. Then hover your hands off the mat as you lift your chest, lower down. Lifting your knees, your legs off. Tuck the toes, lower down. Engage the core, elbows in, lift into plank. And then to down dog. I know this is not traditional sun salutations, but this is how I'm going to teach it. Dump a walk to the front. Folding forward. Repeating with the breath maybe. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forward. Half lift, inhale. Plank to low plank. If you jump back, make sure don't jump back and kind of lean down in your hip. Exhale, lower it all the way down on the floor. Inhaling, lifting your chest. Exhaling, lower down. Hover the head. Inhale, lifting your legs off. Stretching the legs, lower down. Right, hands down, elbows in. Plank on toes or knees. Downward facing dog. You might exhale. 3 more times. Come to the front. Inhale. Folding forward, exhale. High mountain, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Half lift. Plank to low plank, exhale. All the way down. Reach up, baby cobra. And lower down as you exhale. Stretch your legs, toes pointing down, lift, inhale. Lift high. Exhale, lower down. Plank, inhale. Exhale, down dog. To the front as you inhale. Exhaling, folding forward. Reaching arms up overhead. One more time through. Hope you feel the heat by now. Inhale, half lift. I do. Lower down. Lifting, inhale. And exhale. Feet, legs. Tuck the shoulders in, core in, plank. Down dog. Take one breath here, maybe sigh out really firmly. To the front. Folding forward. High mountain, that's the arms up overhead. And then prayer pose. Catch your breath. Finding freedom that you can be a firm believer or a firm doubter with God or with love, whatever you might doubt in. Maybe it's also a part of life. It's not the end. It's not the purpose of life is not doubting, but sometimes it's okay to accept it. All right, we're going to do a sequence. Now keep your hands here in front of you. Lift up your right leg. See if you can really hold the balance. Maybe you just look down on the floor. Then you bring your leg back and bring your hands to the front to find warrior 3. Try to see if you can keep the palms together. Hips are closed. Take one more breath here. Really elongating from finger to heel. Bring the hands into prayer pose again and lower down the right leg or foot there at the back of the mat. High lunge. Twisting. Right elbow comes out to the outer edge, if possible, on your knee. And then try to push the elbow into the thigh or the top of the knee there. And the top of the knee into your thigh. See what happens to my shoulder. I lift up, push in. Challenge the muscles and extend the back leg. Breathe. Unwind from your twist. Warrior 2, so you pivot the back foot around and get some distance going in between your front foot and the back heel. So really going low. Staying here for a breath. Then you bring your front hand down, and in order to get into side plank, which is the next posture, you might step the back foot a little bit closer to the front, because otherwise I can't at least. Find side plank and bring the top arm over your head. Align it with the ear. If possible, turn around, make sure your fingers move with you so that fingers point towards the heels. Reversed plank, either like this, tucking the shoulders back, or going for that reversed plank. Lifting your chest. Lifting the hip. And then sit down on the mat, finding your boat pose. I know you maybe can't see the screen, you might just want to turn, but if you know boat pose, just get into it. Engage the core. And maybe if you want a little bit more, make it more hovering over the floor. Ooh. So really in with the navel, tuck the chin towards the chest. Breathe. And see if you can come up really, really slow into your boat pose again. Take the feet down, just turn around on the mat into your downward facing dog again. I hope this worked for your shoulders. Come to the front, jump or walk. Folding forward. High mountain. Same procedure, other side. Hands towards your chest. Root down through the right foot this time so you can lift up left leg. Try to see if you can really engage the thighs of the hips as you move back into that warrior 3 variation with the palms in front of your head. And know that you can always adjust. Okay? Don't feel bad if you can't do it all. Listen to your body. Bring the hands in towards the center, prayer pose. Lower down the left foot at the back of the mat. Get some, again, distance. Make sure you don't hyperextend the back leg as we move into the twist. Again, grabbing down on that thigh, and then push elbow into the thigh and thigh into the elbow. Lift the chest. And see if you can center your thumbs a little bit more towards the middle of the chest. Releasing, warrior 2. Pivot the back foot, and again, some distance, lower than you might used to do, or you might be familiar with. Feeling the stretch here, groins, the lack of strength maybe in the front thigh. Going for the plank. Get the hand down, this time right hand, step the front foot back. You can always do side plank on your elbow if you prefer. Stacking feet, or just keep them by the side, whatever works for you. Slowly and mindfully moving back. Reverse tabletop, fingers point towards your heels again. Lift up the buttocks, make sure you don't hang in your shoulder girdle. And maybe extend the legs out. Lift the hip. Ooh. And I always keep a little bit of a micro bend in my knees. And sit down. Chair pose. So exactly moving from the engaging the back to engaging the front. So our boat pose. And this time, instead of hovering, you can definitely do that. Try to lift up. See if you can take the legs straight. Maybe bring your arms out And I want to try to get my thighs into my belly. And that's a bit of a balance challenge. Woo. Just be playful. Smile. And just roll back if you happen to do that. 3, 2, and 1. Oh. Get yourself down. Maybe child's pose. Maybe a sip of water. I'm going to do another sequence in just a second. I hope as you are here on the mat that you're not doubting your body and your body's ability to do things. We have to listen, but the body is strong. It supports you. It really does its best to help you in every single thing you do. Okay, we are gonna do a bit of things with some weights now. As I said before, you might not want to do it with weights, especially if power yoga is kind of a new thing to you. You want to really get it going, right? But you still want not too much. So I've got my weights here, maybe 6 kilos, 12 pounds or something like that. You're going to bring your right foot back, tuck the shoulders back, and we're going to do a lunge that I would also do in a fitness class, but with maybe a little bit of a extra challenge. So lower down, keep the spine straight, slowly down, bending the back knee, lifting up, trying to see if you can extend the front leg the whole way. And let's lower down again. Going slow. Pushing through the front heel and extend the front leg, knowing that the balance is pretty challenged here. Maybe you're up for a bicep curl as well. Here. So you're going to engage the arms as you bend the front leg. Let's just do that 4 more times. Remember to breathe. And you might shake, but just remember to breathe. I'm mindful of my shoulder precision so my shoulders don't drop too much to the front. See the difference here as I do my bicep curls. Whew, all right. Stepping to the top of the mat so you can see the screen. Just put one weight down, but bring the other one with you. I've not forgotten the other side. Step out wide here. Toes and knees tracking the same direction. So you might feel one leg more than the other, and that's perfectly fine. Lean over to one side. Navel in. Extend the arms out if you can. Bring it back. Center your spine. Other side. Navel in. Lift it overhead. Bring it back. Your legs are going to stay put. This is quite a challenge for the core. And remember the pelvic floor. All right? Root lock in. Four more. Shouldn't feel this at all in your spine, okay? Core in. You might notice it's bringing the weight back here. Oh, that is probably the biggest challenge. Awesome. I'm a little bit out of breath, right? So opposite side, doing those lunges, high lunges, low lunges, a mix there. So bring your weights. Just starting with hands by your side, lowering down, extending front leg. Remember, As you go down here, look at my feet. They're not in line. I have some distance in this direction. Yeah. Let's try biceps with... I am always super challenged by this. But you know, just as Thomas, that's such a great thing, Thomas stayed. You know, he was doubting. And the other disciples were saying, no, Jesus is alive. But he didn't quit. He didn't quit. Apparently he stayed with his friends for a week, listening to them babbling on about Jesus. And he didn't believe it. But he stayed in that uncomfortable process of wanting to believe, but not really believing. Two more. Now I'm exhaling through my mouth. I just noticed that. It's because I am out of breath, so it becomes a little bit more of a challenge to breathe in and out through my nose. Put the weight down. Maybe a sip of water. I'm gonna get more into shoulder fun. So you're gonna bring your block with you. If you have a very thin mat, I would encourage you to fold the mat or maybe use a towel or something like that. We're going to stay down on the elbows here, planking our way through the next one. You can definitely come down on your knees as well. But you're going to bring the block behind you like that, as far as possible up between your shoulder blades, because you're going to try to take a hold of it with the other arm, bring it back and put it there. So that's it. I'm sorry if my microphone gets a little bit of a scratch here. Now, if this is simply not something you can do, just put your hands in the same circular motion that I do here. And it's okay to struggle with it. Nothing, as people say, nothing valuable in life comes without a struggle. Is that true? I actually think it is. In my life it is. Almost there. Woo. All right. Coming into a stand, we're going to do a more traditional sequence in just a bit. But for now, you're going to put the block, one and only, in between your legs. Maybe the short end or the second end or the second height. You're going to sit down in your chair like this. And then I want you to really squeeze in on the block. That's why you shouldn't put it on your knee joint, because that might not be nice. So you sit low. And then you twist. Open your arms up, maybe leaning a little bit more forward towards your left side. Coming back. And maybe you exhale to your right. Your hip stays where it is. It's just your core moving. Shoulders. Go for 4. Squeeze the block. 3. 2. Keep squeezing. And 1. Awesome. Just put the block aside for now. Standing in mountain pose at the top of the mat. Shake your legs. Let's do like a rocky mountain here. Maybe sighing out. And just take a moment to notice your body. Are you okay with what we have been doing so far? Awesome. So again, sequencing. Gonna do eagle pose. Now, if the arms can't really find their way around, don't worry, just do prayer hands. But again, finding your chair and then wrap the right leg once, twice, or whatever you can do on the floor. Right elbow at the bottom, and then you're gonna sit as low as possible. Again, squeezing the inner thighs. Bringing the hands away from your head. Breathe. Release the hands from eagle to half moon. Bring both hands down. You might use the block underneath your left hand, but if you can, just maybe use the floor. All of right side comes up. And maybe you want to try to make the hovering variation. Keep the gaze on the floor. Ooh. Lift the right leg super high. And see if you can keep hovering as you lower down right leg to the back. Warrior 2, second time around on this side. I'm going to go for the binding. Again, I'm going to take it step by step, so you can always don't not do it all the way. Bring your left hand down beside the left foot. Right hand tucks around the back here. Just going to move my microphone behind the shoulder. Step 2, hands just underneath the knee joint. Step 3 will actually get into the binding. Stacking the shoulders. Bending quite a lot in the front thigh, so that would often be the issue for most people, the lack of strength in the front thigh and the openness of the shoulder. Release, bring both hands down beside the front foot. Take the back heel off. And I'm gonna wiggle the front foot a little bit out. We're gonna lift it up, bring it back, extend it out for a plank with 3 legs. Bring the left knee down on the floor so you can lift the right leg off. Left hand to the front, stay here. Or see if your hand can reach. Go for a binding here. So there's this, so you would do a sort of a back bend in your spine. Now, let's make this into a power pose. So kick your foot into your hand. And then try to stay glued where you are, but don't hold your foot. Stay here without holding it for 3, 2, and 1. Ooh. Knees down. Do whatever you want to do. I love my cat pose. Coming to the front of the mat, folding forward. Let's just pause for 2 breaths here. Vertebrae by vertebrae, mountain pose. Are you warm? Hopefully having some fun, feeling the freedom in the movements, how your body, as it gets more and more tired, also find the freedom maybe in your mind as well. Sit down, opposite side. Left leg crosses over again with the toes on the floor, all the way around or not. Left elbow at the bottom. So sit low, really bending your knees. Breathing. Release your hands. I would suggest that when you unwind your foot and open your hip, you support yourself with the hands on the floor, so we don't open the hip without the support of the hands. All of left side reaches up towards the sky. And again, option of hovering here with the left hand or the right hand as well. Slowly lowering down, left foot at the back of the mat. Warrior two. How about a big smile by now? Get the face muscles engaged. All right. Maybe the bind, right hand by the right foot, back arm there around underneath the knee joint, maybe binding top shoulder really on top, not the chest towards the floor, but the chest towards the side. 2 breaths. Release both hands down, back heel off. All right, make room for that side plank. Make sure you don't hyperextend the leg that's gonna keep us here. Lift the right leg off, staying in plank. Of course, navel in, push the fingers down. One more breath. You can do it. You can do it. Right knee on the floor. You might, and that's fine. Left leg back, right hand to the front. Holding if you want to, and then you arch the back. Kick the foot into your hand. Lift the knee as high as possible, left knee. All right, let's see if we can make it into power move. So release the foot and stay put for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out, child's pose, whatever you want to do. Whew. Lifting up. Now, the boat pose can be extra challenged with some weights, or one weight. So you might bring that along. If you have back issues, be mindful. Extra focus on really engaging the core. So I'm gonna do twist, boat posture here with twist. Maybe I'm starting with my heels down and then I see how it goes. So I'm leaning back, the weight with me, shining solar plexus, the sternum here forward, and then twisting from left to right, really hucking the navel towards the spine as I twist. Slowly. So I'm sure that my core is supporting here. And maybe lifting up the heels. Keep it going for 8, 7, keep the knees still, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, awesome. Just put this weight aside, and then you can bring your block with you. One of the last things that we'll be doing before kind of wrapping up the class. So again, bring it in between your legs or your thighs. Feet on the floor, somewhat close to your hip. We're going to do bridge pose and maybe wheel pose. Let's see. So engage the pelvic floor, and then tilting the pelvis as you vertebrae by vertebrae lift the hip up. All right. When we're here, squeeze extra firmly on that block. You might walk your shoulders in. No need to do something else, but just lift the hip higher than you might normally do and squeeze the block. And then you're going to lift as I count to 4. Okay, lift the hip higher. 4, I'll count from 4. 3, lift the hip higher. 2, 1, slowly coming down as I count. 7, all the way down the floor. 6, maybe you take the shoulders out. 5, keep squeezing the block. 3, 2, and 1. You can remove the block if your legs are like shaking. I'm gonna try to do wheel pose, coming all the way up with the block. I haven't done that before, I must admit. So if you don't want to do that, just do exactly what we did before. If you want to do wheel pose, bring your hands by your ears, fingers pointing towards your feet, and then lift the hip off, lift the head up, and see if you can make your way. Squeeze the block. I don't know if I can hold it there. Ooh, coming down again. It's almost falling down my block. I feel it. That was a new one for me. All right, shake it out. Windmill. If you're in bridge pose, you can come down as well. Now that we're super nice and warm, I love a good headstand. So you might find a wall to do it by. If you have lots of things by you and you feel like, nah, I'm not gonna fall, just for safety, bring the stuff a little bit by your side or away from you. I'm gonna fold my mat for the sake of my head. I'm gonna do the supported headstand like this. So fold your hands, you maybe not come all the way up, that's fine. If you have neck issues, you might not. Top of the head, the crown of the head down on the floor. Hug the elbows in, supporting, lift off. So this can actually just be your step 1. And then it's all about getting up there. Be slow. If you feel safe and in balance, you can do stuff with your legs. You just stay put. See if you can slowly make your way down. Remember to breathe. Child's pose and feel, can we say, the energy of the blood vessels and all that you incorporated here in this headstand. You can move your head from left to right for a little bit of a massage of the neck. We're going to do a few stretches and then wrap up resting. So just a few stretches. So it's going to be plow pose. I'm incorporating some of, maybe people will call them more advanced, I don't know, but maybe they are. So if you don't do plow pose, the one with your legs above your head, do here. If you have neck issues, any back issues, I would suggest you do it here, just bending your knees, leaning forward. If you want to take a look at the screen before you do plow pose, please do so, because I don't want you to do plow pose and then move your neck, all right? Promise me, don't do that. Even though I speak, don't look at the screen. So you're gonna come down here. Make sure you have space in between, behind your head. All right, you might want to extend your legs out. Maybe your feet can reach down. Oh, some days my feet can't. And then you can either support the back or put the hands down the floor. Now it's your turn. Keep breathing. Don't turn your head. Relax your shoulders. Don't force yourself into anything that's not really helpful for you. Still, keep your eyes closed, keep your neck still. Bend your knees. Just listen to my voice. Bend your knees. Put your hands up on your hip. Don't look at the screen. And then slowly coming down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Ooh, and take your feet down on the floor. And maybe you stand, just lay down still, or windshield wiper your legs. That's up to you. You can stay with your legs in one direction for that spinal twist sensation. Maybe the other side. Butterfly pose, opening up our hips. Or if you feel like there's a specific pose you need to have, please do so. But if you just follow along with me, it will be the sole of the feet together. Bring the knees out. If your hands can reach the inner thighs, maybe just hold on there to kind of put that extra pressure on the thighs for a stretch. Now navel just a little bit in, so they don't have a huge arch in the back as you rest here. Close your eyes. Take some deep, comforting breaths. And as you find resting pose on the mat, I'll just share the last bit of, I would say, encouragement from that story with Thomas. Maybe you already had some encouragement that you doubting is okay. So come down on the mat, feet apart and hands on the floor. Make sure you don't get cold, so you might grab a blanket or something like that, especially if you're really sweaty. Relax your head. You can open your mouth. Your jaw can relax. So as I shared, Thomas stayed with his doubts in the group. And Jesus then meets him. And I can't, when I read the story, I couldn't really figure out which was the biggest miracle, that Jesus actually knew what Thomas was saying. How did he know? He wasn't present. Or the fact that Jesus just tells Thomas to touch his hands. And if you don't know the story in full, the hands were where the nails were kind of plucked in as Jesus was hanging on the cross, and he had a sword in his side, or spear in his side, to make sure that he was dead. So that is what Thomas, or Jesus, is saying to Thomas. You can touch those wounds. So questions, if you're a head person, your doubts, maybe ask them, keep searching, because there might be great, great answers for you to find. If you doubt in yourself, don't just accept that. Find answers. If you doubt in God, keep searching, keep asking. Don't quit. I believe that God or Jesus will meet us in our doubts. Maybe not all at once. Maybe it's step by step, drop by drop. But we are not left alone with our doubts. we will be met. So maybe you speak that truth, that belief to yourself. I can find rest. I will finish our time together now. As always, if you want to stay longer on the mat, please do so. Your body has been working really great for you the last 45 minutes, so appreciate that, and it might feel really tired, and that's just great. If you feel sore in your body the next couple of days, just take it as a mark of honor. You did so well on the mat. Now get some movement into your feet and your hands and awaken your body a little bit after resting, whatever you need to do. And then you can take a seat. Oh. It's always a little bit tough after resting, right? I just want to finish with a blessing and a prayer, and again, you might just listen, you might pray with me, whatever works for you. So God, thank you for meeting me when I am in doubt, when I doubt myself, when I doubt your existence. Thank you, God, that you will meet me, that I don't need to have a certain amount of faith or something to show for it. You will meet me, speak to me in my doubts as I reach out. Help me never to cease seeking truth, seeking love. Amen. From my heart to yours, thank you so much. Blessings on your path, and thank you for sharing this video and liking and all of that.